What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I'm on the run, getting things done, along with getting my steps in. I'm here at Meyer. I gotta grab a few things, man. I'm out of bacon. I'm out of sausage. I'm out of steak. I need to pick up some ribs while I'm here. I need to pick up some yogurt while I'm here. I need to pick up some water while I'm here. I just gotta re-up on my things that I consume regularly. I didn't realize I was so depleted until I was headed out to go to the gym. But let's get into the topic at hand. Joe Biden. He was on The View today, and it went about as well as you would expect it to have went. The 46th president was stuttering and stammering over words. He was having pauses. I mean, it's what you would expect from a guy that was suffering from dementia. And I don't say that to be funny in any way, shape, or form. For those of you who may not know, I was very sympathetic to Joe Biden suffering from dementia. Got a buggy here. Got one that works, I think. Let's see. I don't know about this one. I think we're going to try again. We're going to get another one. Let's see. This one? Okay, this one's working a little better. Anyway, those of you who don't know, I was very sympathetic to Joe Biden having dementia because my grandma had it before she passed away. I've seen what it does to a person. And Joe Biden was very clearly on the cognitive decline. And I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that not only was he trying to run for another 4 years, but other people were trying to push him for another 4 years so that they can keep their jobs. This was a man that we saw early on in his tenure. He wasn't all there. There were some clear problems. And if him going on The View was supposed to convince us that he was sharp enough to hold office for another 4 years, that appearance did anything but. Now, I can't stand The View. You guys already know this, but I was interested in seeing what Biden had to say. I didn't watch all of it, just like some clips. I noticed that at one point, his wife, who wasn't on stage initially when he came out, she got on stage at one point. I don't know what that was about. I need to get some bread too while I'm here. Perhaps she ended up on stage because she seen, I'm not going to say how badly he was performing, but perhaps his performance were giving her some reasons to feel concerned. And so she wanted to get up there with him. At one point during the convo, she takes over answering for him because she sees that he's having a really hard time getting his thought together. This actually, though this is his wife, this is ride or die, so I know that she was doing this to help him, but it actually was more harmful because we now had a direct contrast of just how sharp she is compared to him. Joe Biden speaks very slowly. He's like he's always trying to concentrate and figure out what it is that he's trying to say. And even then, when he believes he knows what he's trying to say, he was still kind of struggling to get the words out. So I feel for Joe Biden as a human. I feel for him on a human level because I've seen what he's going through before, and it's not an easy road for him. Him backing out was the right thing to do. The problem was he should have backed out sooner, and he should have picked a better person to run. Him backing out as late as he did and choosing Kamala Harris, who universally we all agreed was a terrible VP, but the left wanted to pretend like she was the greatest thing since sliced bread when she got picked. But they were over here with the rest of us like, oh no, she's terrible. So one of the reasons that Donald Trump won is because they handed the election to him on a silver platter by giving him an opponent that was so inept. He tried to claim, though, the reason why she lost was because of racism and sexism. Oh, people didn't want to vote for her because she was a woman. There were some, sure. I'm one of them. But it's not like it was a large enough amount of people who didn't want to vote for her for that reason that would have made the difference. People didn't want to vote for her because she was a person of color. That's a really flimsy excuse when you were VP to a man who was a person of color who won twice. So the excuses, they were a bit weak, man. He was basically trying to say that they fleeced America, which I found to be ironic coming from him because many would say that that's what they did. Oh boy, we got the crying kid in here today. There's always that one kid when you're out and about. You're always somewhere where there's just some crying kid and the parents are doing absolutely nothing to pacify them. Well, there you go. And they also serve as being the noise for this video because, I got to get some noise in the video sooner or later. But back to Joe Biden. Another thing Biden said in his interview that I thought was very interesting was he tried to blame Donald Trump for the 15 million illegals coming over here. He said that Trump called people up and told them not to do an agreement with him, not to sign anything, not to vote on anything that was to do with the border. And I have a really hard time believing that because Kamala, who was the border czar, seemed completely uninterested in securing the border. She went to that border, I think, twice? She went once very deep into her term because at first she got called out for it. It was like, have you been to the border? She was like, we've been to the border. Have you been to the border? And she had to reveal she hadn't been. Then when she was running, she went back to the border. So she had went twice. But again, twice in 4 years, she expressed an extreme, just an absence of interest in securing the border. So trying to say that it was Donald Trump's fault for this was just pretty weak sauce, if I could just put it that way. And there's more harsh ways I want to put it, but we're going to go with weak sauce here. Joe Biden, and this is one of the biggest issues that I have with his presidency, he is simply unable to hold himself accountable, hold his administration accountable for any of their failures. Everything that he did that was good, which was few and far in between, he would take credit for it. But everything bad that happened, it was somehow Donald Trump's fault. When it was getting towards the end of his, there we go. Let me get away from him, man, because the kid is just making noise for no reason, and he with his father, which is unusual because kids don't usually do that. Just being loud for the hell of it, and the dad is doing nothing to pacify him. I don't get that. I never in my life would have just let my son cut up like that in public. I wouldn't have had to spank him. I just told him, like, listen, we're not doing this here, okay? We are not doing this. Anyway, never, and I mean ever, during that 4 years, did I ever see him really take responsibility for his failures. It was always somebody else's fault. He spent his entire tenure blaming Donald Trump for his failures. And I'm like, dude, this guy has been out of office for 4 years now, and you're still blaming him for everything that you couldn't get done? But that pretty much sums it up, man. Joe Biden went on The View. It was an interesting watch. it just kind of reaffirmed for me that no, he was not okay. He was not in the headspace. He was not operating in a mental capacity where he could have been commander-in-chief for an additional 4 years. Let me know what you guys think, though. Did you guys watch it? What did you think of his performance? What did you think of the things he had to say? I'll holler at y'all soon. Peace.